I rewatched Atlantis The Lost Empire. It's a movie I've seen a million times, but I watched it with someone who hadn't seen it before. I personally still really love it and feel it's so underrated because it's action packed, it's fast, it's engaging. I love the art, I love the characters. I really like their camaraderie and their chemistry, and they feel so natural together. And it's very different from a lot of Disney animated movies. I like that it feels like an animated 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, it also seems to check a lot of boxes for what people on the more liberal end of the internet are looking for. People want a more diverse cast. And with this ensemble, with the characters going into Atlantis, you do get that. You get there's a 15-year-old Latina character who's the mechanic of the team, and she's a badass. She's a bit of a tough girl. Then you have this Italian guy, I believe he's Italian, who's a pyromaniac, loves to blow things up, has a passion for fire. And then you have this guy, Josh Sweet, he's black and I believe also Native American. He's the doctor of the group, and he's a big strong guy, but he's also very compassionate and very funny, and he's a fast talker. He's excitable. He's really expressive. The expressions they get on him is so great. And then you get Kita, who is played by the amazing Cree Summer, who voiced Number 5 in Codename Kids Next Door, who is the best character. So my favorite voice actress is a Disney princess, one that needs to be included in the lineup. I like her a lot. She's so great. Got a unique design too. And one thing that's interesting, I'm not a big fan of crop tops on characters because I see it everywhere. But at least for the world they create, it does have a really good contrast with the Victorian world. So this takes place in 1914, so it's a good contrast. And it's not she's not sexualized because you see similar outfits on the other men in Atlantis, and there aren't a lot of shots. You don't get shots of just her body, and so yeah, she's pretty. Cause I like pretty's great, but I'm actually not against fan service, by the way. I just don't like it when it's not needed. And if I want it where it's just fan service, I will watch something that caters to that. So, going off topic, it was a shame because the friend I was watching with really liked the first act, the setup and the build up. And he was saying that, wow, why doesn't this have a bigger following? And then sadly was underwhelmed by the second and third act. But I'm like, no, I loved it straight through. I realized, because generally when I watch movies with friends, we spend a lot of time talking and analyzing. So I realized this is, if you've never seen it before, with Atlantis Lost Empire, because it's so quick and so fast paced, and you really got to pay attention to it. It's not one of those movies you can just casually watch. It's one of those you really got to pay attention to get the most out of it. I mean, you could say that with any movie, but with something like Snow White, you could just not really pay attention to the dialogue too much and still get it. Versus this, where you really got to pay attention. There's a big continuity to it. Don't know if I've gushed about the animation. The animation, oh my god. I'm a big fan of this high contrast 90s style animation. The lighting in this is so stunning and beautiful. The colors are really nice. And I actually really like the world. I like that. I'm fascinated by the look of the turn of the 20th century. I think it's so pretty. So, and I also like the way they did Atlantis too. I like that style. I like that it feels very, I mean, they say it's underneath Iceland, not Ireland, but I get a very South American Amazon vibe from it. I wonder what the visual references for that were. And they also, supposedly a linguist developed a language just for this film. And they did it in a really cool way, so you read it both left and right, so it's, if you're reading left to right, then the next you read right to left. I read that in some movie trivia a long time ago. I believe it was on IMDb. And I thought, that blew my mind. God, so love the chemistry of this cast. They feel genuine. They feel like real people, but they also, you kind of get why they wouldn't trust Milo in the beginning, because yeah, he is spineless. He doesn't really know. Nobody knows if Atlantis even exists. But you see, I do like when they bond. They're all good people. They all they all join forces in the end. I like that. Even when they turn on him, because at first everyone just wants money, and they take a whole bunch of artifacts and try to leave while the city is crumbling, which Milo's devastated by and feels very betrayed, getting to the lower points of the film. Not lowest points as in weakest, I mean just the story progression. But the two who actually remain villains, it does seem like a cliche at first, because there's so many villains who are just after gold or money or riches. Well, that's true for humanity. I mean, most Sherlock Holmes stories, the bad guy just wants money. The old ones. But here it feels very true to the world of that time period. If you have a little context for history, it really does make sense. They don't go into any socio-political stuff, but the idea of this exploration, God, gold, and glory is very, very much present here, and that makes a lot of sense in context. Not to mention, the action is still really good. There are some really cool action scenes, and the way Atlantis has this really wonderful energy to it is so great. And it's my favorite underrated Disney movie. My favorite is still Beauty and the Beast. But if there's any movie that I think deserves more attention from Disney, it is definitely that one. And I'd really like to know why a lot of people took or didn't take to it, because I personally liked it from the beginning, but I love it now. Just saying, I'm proud that I saw it in theaters. Yay. Yes. It's great in big screen. It is a lot of fun. I definitely think as a little kid, I had trouble following stories. I even had to ask for explanations when I was watching Shrek when it came out. So I could probably see the younger audience not getting it. But I also think that it didn't do as well because it came out at a time when Disney was losing its popularity. 2D animation was on its way out. People really thought of animation as kid stuff. And even though Disney has been acclaimed for a while, that prejudice against animation was still very much alive, especially and it wasn't cool to like animation for a very long time. And I do remember that very strongly growing up. So I think I'm not sure if it came out at the wrong time or what, because it feels very much like an Indiana Jones movie. It feels like an 80s movie. And hey, Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future is your lead. And a lot of Disney protagonists are like Milo Thatch. You could say a good chunk of them have this archetype personality, especially in the recent years, of this eternally optimistic underdog who keeps persevering until they get their dreams to come true, with hard work. Because Giselle and Anna and Rapunzel and Judy Hopps, they're all like that. I mean, Disney markets itself on positivity, and personally, in my fiction, I want to see more positivity. I'm actually a little sick of this really mean stuff. My favorite stuff is light on top, dark underneath, but I always like a nice heart to it. And this has a good heart. So, I know there's a fan base out there, and I do talk to people about it. I know there's a lot of people who are fans of Michael J. Fox, so yeah, he's very adorable here. I like the character. It's because you've seen the skinny nerd before, but there's something really kind and expressive and very relatable. I found myself relating to him a lot. This idea of, you got a really good idea. You're onto something. It's just a matter of finding the right people and the right combination of events to get to where you want to be. So, I mean, that's true for a lot of Disney movies. Dreams come true. But something about this, I guess it's probably because Milo needs funding for his adventures, and a lot of people do need funding for their dreams, whether that's science or the arts or, your experiments. Science experiments. I'm saying science and the arts are really the big ones that I can think of. Government too. But yeah, I guess that's what, I think that's different from a lot of other Disney movies. You just getting someone to back you. But it's still something relevant, I think, because I know the guys who made this movie, Treasure Planet was the one they really wanted to make. That's actually the one. I can't get into that movie. I'm sure that I actually haven't seen it fully through in a very long time. Recently, because I just don't like that. I don't really like the anthropomorphic animal look in that particular film, and I'm not the biggest fan of the futuristic 1800s combination. Maybe I'll check it out, give it another chance. So, because those two I think came out around the same time. And I feel like Treasure Planet's found the bigger fan base, but I could be wrong on that one. That's just what I've been around. So I'm always excited to share stuff I really like with people. And it's cool to see people talk about the underrated, the lesser known Disney movies. Because the lesser known ones, I can't really think of any. Maybe Home on the Range that really have nothing going. Even some of the weaker films, I feel like they have something going for them. Maybe Chicken Little doesn't. I don't know. It's funny, I saw that one in theaters too. That one went in one ear, out the other. I can't remember Chicken Little that well. Anyway. Remember Meet the Robinsons. Oh, I'm going off balance anyways. Atlantis, Lost Empire, even if you're not into the story, I feel like if you're into really good lighting animation, really strong, beautiful animation, I mean, Disney's got all that, but this is a very different kind of beautiful animation. It's like if Indiana Jones was animated, this is what it would, or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I feel like would be a better reference. But highly recommended. Even if you find it underwhelming, I doubt you would get nothing out of this. This is something, I feel like most people who watch this would get something out of it, even if it was just yeah, that was good. Check it out if you can.